Hey everybody, John Good here. Welcome to Evanston, Wyoming. Local time here is 11:27. Temperature is at 45 degrees. We are down to 750 miles to the city of Industry, California. Once again, we are loaded 33,000 pounds of Belgioso cheese. We are set for delivery on Saturday at 7 a.m. For the meantime, I would like to share this crossing into Utah, which will be in about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Utah. Life elevated. Okay, the last video that I did, it turns out I was blabbering my mouth a lot longer than the battery could have handled. So I didn't realize how long of a video that was, and I didn't realize that the battery was already dead. By the time I checked it, it was gone. But upon reviewing it, the last word was, it's going to drive you insane. Alright, so I don't know where I don't know if you guys heard this, but in the part of the video that I was saying was, life is not about the physical job that we have. It's not driving a truck. It's not delivering loads of cheese, or it's not about getting from one one place to the other. It's about how what you did at that moment. It's not about. It's about how you gave God the glory for all the things that you've done. It's about giving Him praises and thanks for the wonderful grace that He has given us, the opportunity to worship Him, to glorify His name through the job, whatever job we are given. Whether you're the president, whether you're a lowly janitor, or what kind of job it is. It's not about the job. For whatever life that you're in, whatever job that you're in, use that to give Him honor and praise and glorify His name, and give Him thanks and honor Him. That's what it's all about. Because look, this job, whatever job that you and I do, is all temporary. It's just nothing but a vapor. It's just but for a season. But to give Him honor and to glorify His name, that's the part that lasts forever and ever and ever. That's the part that really matters. I was also talking about, I delivered this load of cheese to California. Then they redistribute it. The whole city of Los Angeles, or state, divides it all up. People eat it and they eject it out, and that's it. That's gone. It's done. You never know what happens after that. Nothing. But man, to give Him honor and praise to whatever job He has given you or built you for, man, that's the one that counts. Let me put it another way. For whatever job that he has built you for, and you don't give him the honor, you don't give him the praise, and you don't give him the thanks and the glory, that could be a bad thing too. That can go against you. It's just, I don't know how else to say it. It's like, it's all about him. It's all about, because he's the only one that really matters. One of the reasons why he's the only one that really matters is the only one that really, he's the one that lasts and counts forever and ever and ever. I recently had this somewhat of a thought that how much does God really loves us? I'm not the original of this story, but I will tell you in a different way, in my way. I've often wondered, how does God really loves us? Well, let's put it this way. You know those soldiers that brought Christ to nail him on the cross? Picture this. If one of those soldiers got injured while Jesus was being nailed and hung to the cross, if one of those soldiers got hurt right there and then, I could just visually see that Jesus Christ coming off that cross, crawling into the soldier, bandage his wounds, heal him, and had that so much concern about that soldier, the very soldier that nailed him on the cross. I could just picture Jesus Christ coming off that cross, helping the soldier, and then him crawling back up to cross to finish the mission. And that's how much God loves us, man. It just, but there is a limit to that. There is a time limit to it. God's love doesn't, well, he doesn't have a limit to, well, you've done too much to hurt me and then you're done. That's it. I can't forgive you. It doesn't work like that. Let's say, well, you're too far gone. Your quota is reached. I'm not going to forgive you anymore. Rather, think about this. God has set a time frame for us to recognize and to love him back. And it's about time. It's about the length of time that he has given us to worship him, to honor him, to glorify him. It's not about the number of offenses or the magnitude of offenses that we have committed against him. It's about time. It's about the time and space that he has given us. That's how much God loves us. The problem is we don't know how long that time is. That's why I always say today is the day of salvation. Because, man, tomorrow may not come. Tomorrow might be outside of God's time that He has allotted for us. And besides, why do you want to continue living in sin? Why do you want to continue living outside of God's providence? You know, nobody can argue that sin is sweet. I mean, man, if sin wasn't sweet, nobody would do it. But we also all know that there are repercussions of living a life of sinfulness. Even in the human standard, nobody can deny that drugs make you feel good. You're right. I mean, but the consequences of drugs and alcohols and whatever it is in life, as good as they feel, at the end they will rob you of joy. They will rob you of your life. And that's what sin does. It's I know for many of you cannot accept that. For many of you cannot understand that. But man, I wish there was a way that I could let you see what I see. As I've always said, I have no evidence of God's existence other than, well, we can argue all day long about God's creation and the magnificence and the glory of God's throughout His creations and all that. The probability of the existence of the universe in a creation versus the evolution, the Big Bang. I mean, come on. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to believe that the probability of all this thing is a creation, not a Big Bang. Look, we live in a very ordered, perfect ordered universe where things are traveling in a very high speed, perfectly in sync with each other and all that. We could argue all that long, but the only evidence that I could show you, I could tell you, is the experience I have in my life, in my heart. From utter wickedness of a sinful life that I have lived to the transformation that I have. I mean, I still sometimes, man, I am still wicked. And in God's standard, I am still a very wicked person. The things that I do, the things that I not to do, I do. The things that I do, I should do, I do not do. Yes, I still have certain unwanted feelings of resentments and hates and disappointments and occasional doubts and problems, but oh, I can tell you, the life that I lived in my younger days I really should be in jail, or man, I should really be, God should have really sent me to eternal punishment. God's grace, God's mercy has spared me because, of all that. It's not something that I contribute to any of that. I have nothing to contribute to my salvation. It's all about what Jesus Christ did. There's nothing in me that's good. Look, I am not perfect. Many people had this misconception of once you're saved, you're not supposed to be sinful anymore. That you're perfect. Not so. It's like this. Imagine this. You go to a party, and even on your best wardrobe you have in your closet, you go to a party and the party says, well, unless you have a perfect garment, you cannot enter the party. Your most perfect attire is filthy as rags. Have you ever been to a restaurant where it says coat and tie are required, and then you can't, since you're only wearing a t-shirt or whatever, then they have this jackets or coats that they lend you to be able to go into the restaurant because they have this certain attire requirements. They actually lend you one of those jackets or coats that are decent enough that they will let you in. It's kind of like that. It's the righteousness of God can be, the righteousness of Jesus Christ can be viewed as a garment, as a jacket or a coat, that once you get into the door, even though you have filthy rags on you, God, Jesus Christ will give you his garment so you can qualify to go into the party. And there's not amount of bleach, not amount of work, not amount of anything that you can do to make your garments white as snow and as perfect and holy. Remember, people, salvation is not by works. It's not about who you are, what you are. It's about forgiveness through mercy, by grace. It's all about his righteousness, not our righteousness, because God considers our righteousness filthy as rags. That scale went real nice. Anyway, and that there, my friend, is the gospel. We all deserve punishment. We all are headed for eternal punishment. We don't need to be there. We don't need to go there, because there is escape route. Like I was telling Matt last week in California, I said, Matt, let's just say if the doctor told me I was 5 minutes away from dying, 5 minutes away from death, and I was gonna surely die in 5 minutes unless I take that syringe and inject myself with that antidote. Let's just say I was dying of cancer and I had 5 minutes left to live. Unless I inject that antidote within 5 minutes, I will die. I asked Matt, I said, Matt, I did not take that antidote and died. I asked Matt, I said, Matt, did I die of cancer or did I die of stupidity? Matt actually took a while to answer that question. He says, well, you died of cancer. I said, think it over, man. The antidote is right there. All I had to do was pick it up, inject myself, cure myself. But I didn't do it. Now, what really killed me? The cancer or my refusal to believe? He says, you know, that's a very interesting point. My point is like this. It is what it is. We're all born sinners. We're all born wicked. And we are damned. We are destined to be damned through hell. Now, people always say, why does God send us? Why does God send his children to hell? You know, that's a very wrong question. Just because you're a human being, that doesn't mean you're a son of God. God only had one son, and that is Jesus Christ. Now, God has made provisions. God has set certain rules. It is what it is. That rules is not going to change. And I'm trying to be clear about this. Well, let me put it this way. God has sent certain instructions that we can escape hell. In the metaphor of that injection or that cure, Jesus Christ is the cure for that death. He is the life. He is the way, the truth, and the life. All we have to do is inject Jesus Christ in our hearts, and we can escape that damnation. But because man refuses to believe in Jesus Christ, then we are damned. So let me ask you this. If you ended up in hell, did God send you there, or did you send yourself there? Knowing that there is a way, that there has been an escape route already. Someone has already paid for our atrocities. I don't know if you ever thought about that, you know? I think that because man has a rebellious heart, that's the biggest problem we've got. We have a rebellious heart. You ever often wondered, what was it about the fruit of knowledge, the fruit in itself, the content of the fruit, the chemical aspect of the fruit? What was it about the fruit that was deadly? When God said to Adam and Eve, you can eat in every fruit in a garden, but except the the fruit of knowledge, for if you eat of it, you will surely die. What was it about that particular fruit? And what kind of fruit was it? Well, nobody knows what kind of fruit it is, or it was. And think about this. There was nothing about that fruit, in the fruit in itself, and the chemical aspect of it, that was deadly. What made Adam and Eve sin and died of, think about this, wasn't the eating of the fruit, it was the disobedience. They disobeyed God's law of not to touch it. They disobeyed God's order not to eat of it. That's where the sin came from. That's where the death came from. That's where the atrocity was. It wasn't about touching the fruit. The fruit wasn't poisonous. Long before Adam and Eve touched the fruit, they've already sinned. It was already the moment they were reaching for the fruit. 1 inch before they reached the fruit, they've already sinned. They've already disobeyed God. I've often wondered throughout my life, I said, what was it about that fruit that killed the human race? So the point is, it's all about obedience. The very core of the human heart is about obedience to God, or disobedient. And man, you ever notice that the more people tell us not to do things, the more we want to do it? Look at your kids. Yeah, your kids are the prime example of that. Oh, I hope you guys are enjoying this beautiful scenery here. For those of you who have not yet changed the channel, I know. You know, in my younger days, I used to turn off people that talk about God. I just couldn't stand it. It sounded so ridiculous. It sounded so odd. It sounded so uncomfortable would be the word. It sounded so convicting. So once again, a friendly reminder, an encouragement, just a little nudge. Start living a life, a godly life. I don't lightly just say that, have a good and godly life as a trademark experience or expression. I mean that I don't know how else to convey that. So have a good and godly life. Start living today. And Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. So whoever you call God other than Jesus Christ, well, you can deal with him. You can ask him. You can, if you have a problem with that, well, not me. I have no message of my own. Anyway, to the glory of Jesus Christ, peace be with you. His peace, not my peace. For my peace is as filthy as rags, as chaotic could be. But his peace is eternal. Peace.